Eskom is a phenomenal organisation with 40,000 people, and I see Arcelor Mittal very similar in many ways to Eskom, so it prepared me very well.
You focus on something so important today, this relationship between government and business. And I think government is dismayed with business threatening to leave, threatening to cut jobs, business feeling ostracized as well. How can you start being part of the solution to that problematic relationship?
I think it's engagement. I certainly believe there's an olive branch out there from government, and we need to engage, and we need to find our differences, put our differences on the table and see how we find a middle ground. I think we need to actively do it as business leaders. I know government are fully willing to do that, and we intend doing that.
Is that happening? Are there informal talks? Everybody says the same thing. We have to bridge this gap, but how can it be done practically?
Yeah, there are informal talks, and I think it's about relationships, it's about people. And you only win trust back by talking to people and putting your views on the table, and then finding common ground. So if we sit back and be dictated on any front and don't engage, then we must expect what comes to us.
You were also being very frank about the fact that Arcelor Mittal, huge emissions, safety problems, you were talking about more fatalities, has been part of the problem in the past, but you'd like to be part of the solution. So what's going to be done?
No, I think environmentally they've done a lot, and there's more we need to do. The fatalities is just tragic and unacceptable, and we as a management team take accountability for that. I think the exciting part of Arcelor Mittal is the potential, the real potential here to get back to serious profitability, and we have committed as a management team that that's what we're going to do, and it's about production, and it's about cost reduction, and it's about sales.
And what about the environmental impact, those sort of?
Absolutely. So we believe in the triple bottom line. As we put up our economic footprint of how we impact society, our local communities, the environmental issues they face, that we face, those are very, very important to us, and we're addressing them. I think we spoke about the training and the training schools we've set up, so that's all part of being a corporate, socially responsible company.
I think your predecessor was saying that if the carbon tax comes in, well, it is coming, 2016, maybe later. Arcelor Mittal, I think 650 million rand a year. Can this company handle a carbon tax, given your emissions right now?
No. We're not making profits, so 650 million a year, and that's about the number, would be really devastating to this company. But I don't think those discussions are finished yet in how will the carbon tax be applied. How would some type of grandfathering be applied? How would some form of incentive be applied to somebody like Arcelor Mittal as opposed to punitive measures? So yes, the carbon tax debate has been deferred, but it's not over. I think we understand the reality of what is required, and we still intend working with National Treasury and government to find an amicable solution.
You spoke about the impact of the recent strike as well.
Yes. Well, that wasn't helpful. Obviously, we had negotiated with our workers on their wages, so it affected us in that our customers couldn't take dispatch. We couldn't dispatch to customers because they were closed. So we didn't stop production.
Was this the car manufacturers mainly?
Everybody. So our major customers and their customers. So our major customers who produce to car manufacturers' mines, whoever they produce to, weren't taking product. But we didn't stop producing. So we've got a fair amount of stockpile at the moment that we're busy dispatching.
Finally, can we look at the big picture? Your fortunes are tied to the growth of the South African economy. We're looking at growth of less than 2% this year, so that can't be good. And what does our steel consumption say about South Africa? Previously, your predecessor was talking about how so much more is being consumed per head in China than in South Africa, and that's despite all our talk of infrastructure projects and things like that.
No, I think that is true now. Fortunately, I've had been able to sit on the other side working for a state-owned company and engaging with government and looking at, certainly in the presidential infrastructure projects that are becoming due. So we need to be part of that solution. We need to work with, that's why I say we need to work with government. How do we unlock the infrastructure that needs to be happen? How do we as South Africa make sure it happens, because that is the solution for growth in South Africa. We can't just sit back and wait that this is going to happen. We need to be part of the solution.